Firstly, let's just talk about the key dates that we have. So obviously entries opened close to a month ago, and the next key date is the project plan submission coming up at the end of June, 26th of June to be precise. Now, this is a great chance for you guys to hand in what you have so far and get some feedback from the judges. It's important to note that this is not a necessity as part of your entry. You don't have to do this and you can still enter the competition, but it is highly encouraged that you do so. It's a great way to get some feedback on the direction that you've already taken so far. Obviously, entries close on the 4th of September, and there's a few weeks while our judges judge all of the entries. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the design thinking process, empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test, and implement. This is a cyclical process, so you're not always going in a linear direction. Today we're going to focus on the first three and talk a little bit about those in more depth. This is available to you on the website. It's a great resource just to see where you are at in the process of your project. So we're going to talk quickly about the problem that you are focusing on for your project. And we have an anagram here, SMART, which is a great way for you to check whether the problem that you're trying to tackle in your project is applicable for your project. Firstly, is it specific to a relevant problem? This is really important to check. Does this problem look at my community? Is it relevant to me? Is it current? It's really important that this is looked at carefully. This will lead you towards project completion, and it will give you a better outcome knowing that your problem is relevant. Is it measurable? Can I quantify and show progress? This one here, it's important that you collect the data along the way. Think about any scientific or mathematical data that you can collect and how you're going to present it. It's important that you show the judges that you've thought about STEAM along the way. Achievable. Can you implement your idea? Sometimes small can be just as important as a big idea. It's not about solving world hunger, although this would be a fantastic one to achieve. You can go about it in a very small manner. Problems that are relevant to you. Last year's highly commended was a young person that had a leash that could attach to a soft toy. And, you know, it was very well thought out and tackled all of the assessment criteria that was presented. Realistic. Is my idea able to be made given the resources available to me? It's important that if you don't know how to cure carbon fiber, that you're probably not attempting to do carbon fiber in your backyard. Just using the resources that are available to you is perfectly fine. And of course, you have a time limit. The project needs to be handed in by September the 4th. So be realistic about the time that you have, and are you able to achieve what you want to achieve in the time? And it's okay to scale things back at any point during the duration of your project. So how to develop an idea. So once you have your initial idea, here are some key concepts which we think should help you develop this idea. Obviously, once you've got your idea, start to brainstorm. Brainstorm as much as possible. Mind maps are a great way of putting down all of your content. It's okay to have too much because that way you can cross things out as you go. and come back to them later. More is better. Put everything down. As far-fetched as an idea might seem, it's okay to put it down. You never know what you might come back to. Writing an initial brief, write down what it is your idea is and why it is important. For example, I need to design and make a product to slow down my cat's eating habits. So it takes time for them to eat their food. Now, it might seem like a very simple problem, but these are the simple problems that can develop into wonderful prototypes at a later date. So write it down. It doesn't need to be a huge brief, just a couple of sentences stating what your idea is and why it is important. Your next step is to start to research. Research around the problem and the idea that you have. It's critical that you check to see whether someone hasn't already come up with the concept that you're doing. It's totally okay to come up with a similar concept and innovate and make it better, but please include all of the research, what other products you found. You might find some great ideas in other people's previous concepts. Once you've done your research, we strongly suggest you write down the attributes and specifications for your initial concept. Draw some labeled diagrams as well as you do that. Some examples of attributes, you can put them in a table or a list. Think about, it must be made from materials available at home or at your local hardware store. It must be easy to wash or clean. These are some attributes and specifications for a variety of projects. This is a great opportunity for you to talk to your stakeholders. I'll talk a little bit more about stakeholders going forward, but it's really crucial that you do incorporate stakeholders into your project. Your initial concept ideas, there's a great chance for you to put down all of your ideas into pictures. Label diagrams, as many as you can think of. Keeping these along the way you go is an easy way for you to make changes without having to always make changes to your prototype. You can do so just in pictures. It's also a great way for you to show the judges the progress that you've made along the way. There's a great PowerPoint available to you on how to develop an idea on the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow website that TENS has put together for you. And so I strongly suggest that you check that out. So, stakeholders. It's critical that you talk to people in regards to the project that you are making. So think about who you are making it for. Last year's winners made a diabetes testing machine, and no doubt they will have talked to as many diabetics as possible. And it's important that you do the same for your project. Consider all of the people that this project might affect and talk to them. Get to know what is it that is important to them in this project. Other stakeholders are people involved in industry-specific places that may be involved in your project. Experts can give you advice on materials that you could use in your project. They could give you some scientific data, some mathematical data. All of this should be included in your project. And they will more than happily help you along the way to help improve the quality of your project. Now, the project plan, which is due to be handed in at the end of June. Now, before I go through these 6 steps, it's important to note that your project plan doesn't have to be a lengthy plan. Just 1 to 2 sentences on these 6 key headings is suffice enough. Firstly, describe the community issue. What is the problem? 1 to 2 sentences will do just fine. Describing the solution. What is it that you've come up with? How are you going to change the problem in your community? What is it that you're going to make? Thirdly, why are you doing this project? Why is it important to you? Is it relevant for your family? Is it relevant to you, friends, or people in your community? Number 4, how can you achieve your project? Just a quick outline of what you plan to do in your project, how you're going to spend your time, how you're going to get it done. Next, how will the solution benefit the community? What do you think is going to happen to the community issue once you've got this project in place? And then lastly, how will you measure success? Hopefully, with some smiles on some people's faces, you may in fact change their lives by providing them with the solution to their problem. You can provide numerical data as well in this area. But just think about those. Again, it doesn't need to be a novel, just 1 to 2 sentences on each of these is enough. But the more that you provide to the judges, the better the feedback is going to be. Although I'm sure they don't want 150 of them novels. They won't be able to get them all done, but hand them in, please do. So I think it's important for us to have a look at what the judges are looking for. There is assessment criteria available to you on the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow website. I'm going to talk quickly about the 5 key areas of the assessment criteria and what the judges are looking for. Relevance: does the solution solve a relevant problem? Now, again, this problem does not have to be as complicated as you think it might. It can be a simple problem that's relevant to you. Keep it simple. Feasibility: can it be implemented with the current technology and resources, and can solutions be applied to society? Whilst it's all well and good us moving our communities to Mars and growing new crops there, unfortunately, in 2 to 3 months, I don't think this is feasible. So think on a scale, can I actually apply my ideas to this? Creativity: obviously, we are looking to get new ideas out into society, and young students have a great way of expressing their creativity. So is the discovery or approach new, and is it different from existing solutions? Now, this is where your research will come into play. You'll find out very quickly whether the answers are out there already or not. STEAM: was design thinking used to create the solution? And how well is STEAM integrated into the approach? So for those of you that don't know, STEAM stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. It's important that you keep track of all of the science, engineering, and mathematical principles that you've applied into your project. And you can notate this in whatever way you like. You'll see that presentation is the smallest weighting of only 10%, but it's important that you present your information in a way that the judges can understand it and are excited about the project that you've handed in. Again, this assessment criteria goes into further detail on the website. There is a link on this PowerPoint, and we will provide this PowerPoint to you guys very shortly. All of the links are available from this PowerPoint. So if you need any of the links, you can just scan this QR code, and this will give you a link to our this PowerPoint, and you'll see that there are links to all of the different steps involved in the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow competition. This is also found on the resources tab on the website. This is just a great way for you to go straight to there. I think that's all we've got time for today. Are there any questions from people today?
I'll leap in, Michael, with just a quick, not so much a question, but just an additional point. I'm Julie Baker, I'm from Mater Education. Thank you, Michael, for that wonderful presentation. It was very clearly put, very succinct. Just on the early project plan submission on the 26th of June, just to let you know that if you don't make a submission by that date, it doesn't stop you from entering the competition completely. So don't feel that that is a compulsory step that you have to take. You can still enter the competition with your work. We just highly recommend it because we think it's a great way for you to get a little bit of feedback, some tips, maybe pointing in a different direction from the judges.
Kia ora, thanks for that, team. And I'm just going to, just while we've got some questions coming in as well, just to reiterate that the whole project actually directly links, and I put some ideas into the chat whilst Michael was talking, because we have lots and lots of direct links to the technology curriculum, in particular the technological practice strand, and this particular area where you're looking and exploring your stakeholders and your needs and opportunities directly linked to the brief development area of that strand too. And so the resources that we've got online can help to support you in that space as well. So hopefully you will actually look at some of that terminology and students be able to develop that technological vocabulary in their submissions as well.
And I see I have a question from Hayley. Can students re-enter Science Fair project for Solve tomorrow? Most definitely, we strongly encourage you to do so. I guess if there aren't any questions from anyone, that wraps us up for today. Just a reminder that there is another webinar coming up in 2 weeks' time. Please get your tickets available on Eventbrite. If you have any queries, please don't hesitate to contact any of us and we'll try our best to help you out. But other than that, I guess it is ka kite anō. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you for the next one.
Ngā te wā.
Cheers, guys.